Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the cool collaboration session, stay-at-home sessions. This is our fourth episode about financial education. I'm going to let Wiko do the introductions.
Hello guys, welcome everybody. I'm happy to be able to make your afternoons more interesting and better, and together with Libor, Bimbi, and one more guy named Daniel, we are going to tell you something about financial education. Actually, they are going to tell you. And I'm really happy about this topic because I consider it pretty important, and I was working in the field for quite a long time, and I consider it like a not really mentioned topic within the round of the young people, which should be mentioned, and I hope you will learn something new from them. So guys, I'm giving the word to you.
So I would like to again say thank you to the 1,300 people that are watching us right now. And I want you to tell that now I'm going to present you two analogies with financial education. For that, I will share screen. Do you see it?
Yes.
I think so. Okay, how nature shows us how economy works. When you are hearing about the tree of money, you are thinking something about this, like, right? But this is the false one. This is the true one. Okay, it's a normal tree, but I will explain you the meanings. And the meanings are, here we have some apples in the tree. Here we have the body of the tree, the stalk and the stem. And here we have the root. And I will explain you what this means. The apples means investment. The money that you are doing by investment, that you want to manage them. If you want to have more apples, you need a strong body tree, a strong stem. And this body tree means financial education. If you have a strong financial education, you can have many apples, more apples in the tree, right? It's pretty logical. If you have a weak financial education and you have many apples, your tree is gonna break and fall down. And the root of the tree is financial backup. This is the saving net. If something happens to the investment and you don't have leaves, you need to get your resources from the ground. And this means your savings, the saving account. This financial backup needs to be for a person, needs to be for 6 months for like the same lifestyle that you are doing it. If your income is not available, if you are having no income, your financial backup will sustain you for 6 months. It is clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
If you have any questions.
Do you mean 6 months of expenses or 6 months of full income?
6 months of expensive, like your lifestyle.
Yep.
Normal lifestyle that you have with expenses. This needs to be your financial backup.
Correct.
Yeah, I'd also like to say, people at home, if you have questions or if something is not clear, to comment like we've been telling you the other days. I think Wiko, I don't know, or Bebe, I'm not sure who is actually going to be checking.
I'm checking.
We will stop now and then to answer them. So
yes,
go on, Bimbi.
Right. About this one, do you hear many people have winning lottery, right? You have heard about them. You heard about people that gain a lot of money from a relative that died.
Okay.
And they have like weak, normal body tree, stem, and they got themselves with a big ass apple, with a big apple, and their trees is gonna break. Statistically, 70% of people that are winning lottery, they are ending up in
bankruptcy.
How do you say?
Bankruptcy.
Yeah, bankruptcy.
Mhm.
Because they are spending money on things like cars, houses, properties that they are not producing income for them. They are just expenses. And yeah, financial education and financial backup is really important if you are thinking about investment. All right. After this, we have the money cycle. In the nature, you know the water cycle with rain, with streams, with dam. This is a dam, another dam, and this is the ocean. What this means, I will tell you to you. The rain means the instable income. This is like the income that you are not sure about it. If you are new hire in a place, you are not sure of your position in the work, this is an unstable income. The streams are the stable income, and this means like you have a rent apartment, and this is a stable income that is coming to you every month. And these two, the rain and the streams, are forming a bigger stream. This is total income that you have. This total income, this stream, you are gathering in a dam. This dam means, this first dam means the saving account, the savings for your financial backup. But if your dam is closed and you are not letting the stream flow up and continue, the water in the dam will suffer of three things: the evaporation, the infiltration in the ground, and the stickiness. Your water is going to stink, literally. And this means evaporation means that the inflation of money. You know, inflation, the devalorization of the money every year. In Romanian, we have leu. It has a rate of devalorization of 5%. That doesn't. So this is inflation. Yeah.
So basically, your money will lose value.
Yeah, money lose value.
Percent of the value each year.
You can buy less stuff and less stuff with that money.
Yes, the best example, if I can say something, is, for example, when you have an amount of money and it's 2020, and in this year you can buy 1,000 of breads for that amount of money. And next year, 2021, you have just the same amount of money in your bank account, but you can buy only 800 breads at the time.
Yeah.
Very simple.
So this is evaporation of the water. The infiltration in the ground of the water means the taxes and the I have to translate the tax. The tax. The tax that if you have a big amount of money, you are going to pay more taxes, and this means the infiltration in the ground. If the water is heavier, the more water is going to infiltrate in the ground. And the stickiness of the water, the stickiness means that you are only gathering money for yourself and you are not letting the money flow, like to have a cash flow. They are going to stink, like they are toxic for you. You are seeing money in not the right way. You need to see money like a transition thing that helps you. And if you are seeing money as a principle and as a goal in your life, it's not right, because money will is the money will be your boss, and everybody knows that money is a bad boss, but a good slave if you are thinking about money like a slave. Interesting, right?
Yep.
Do you have any questions?
I think it's pretty clear.
So what happens after the savings account and the infiltrations?
We have here savings account, and we are letting our stream to flow continue, and we have the second dam, and here we have 3 things. The first one, let's say that we have a lot of how do you say, irrigation. We are going to use our water for irrigation, and this means investment. If you are irrigating ground, this is going to produce crops, and afterwards money if you are selling the crops.
So you're putting money on something that will generate more money. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Afterwards, we have like a village, and you are donating water to the village, and this means funding. You can do funding of other social projects in a community for people with your water/money.
So kind of a charity.
What?
Like a charity that you are giving without expecting something in return.
Charity is this one, donations. But this is like you have somebody has a project, and you have a lot of water in your dam, and you are giving them your water, you know, like funding.
You are
projects,
supporting them. Yes.
Yeah, supporting. And this is donations. Many people that has a lot of money, they are doing donations. If you have money, it's a good thing to do, to donate for those one who don't have money. And the ocean, what do you think it is?
Expenses.
The world, I don't know, life.
Yeah.
Is it the rest that you have after all these?
Global economy.
Oh, okay.
And your stream is going to flow in the global economy. And when a crisis appears, what happens? It is that dams are closing for each people, and there's no more water flowing in the global economy, in the ocean. But the ocean is not going to evaporate, like to be nothing there. The level of the ocean will decrease for a bit, but afterwards, after some years, it's going to be back. And this will repeat itself forever and ever, and forever and ever, sorry. Do you have questions?
No, for me, it's okay.
Yeah, it's quite clear.
How do you see
it's
this?
a good analogy, actually. Like.
Yeah, it is.
How do you see this? Is what you will add, or I don't know.
No, it's easy explanation, explaining the few types of income, savings and investments, how to spend your money, where it goes in the end. Yeah, in an easy way it can be.
Thanks. All right, that was my part. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to ask people if they have comments for Bimbi and questions about this. Just write them down. We will read them as soon as we see them, and when we can. So.
Well, did you put a question in the Facebook? Well, did you?
Yeah, he did. You can just ask now, I guess.
Yeah, right. Let me unmute you.
Yeah, sure. I just kind of wanted to start the discussion there. I wanted to basically ask for clarification about the difference between the fundings and the donations. So, in my understanding, the difference is that with fundings, you are expecting the money to help you in the long run by basically helping the economy, and the donations you don't expect anything back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like donations are like charities, like something that you are not expecting nothing at all back, and projects, social projects.
Funding is like building a road in your village or something like this, yeah?
Yeah. Can have some benefits from it.
Okay.
You can have some benefit.
Okay. If there are more questions or not, I don't know.
Let me check one more time, but as long as I see there is no more questions for now. Yep, no questions. So you clearly explained, everybody understood.
I think so.
Yeah, it was cool.
Bimbi, do you want to add something more? You don't have to, I'm just asking.
I will let Libor to.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue with Libor's part, I guess.
Yeah, all right. I'm cool with that. Let me share my screen.
I will just ask Bimbi to just we can see it. Just ask Bimbi to maybe to share you can share the presentation or that picture in the comments later or
all right.
Now, I don't know if he wants.
I'll do it right now.
All right. Can you see the presentation in full screen?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So I guess I will start with my part. So good evening, everybody. I will continue with what Bimbi started. We already know why the financial education or financial literacy is so important to us, and it is much more important according to, I think, the most of us, and also viewers are very young, and usually in some cases you have to like think very in advance about preparing for the future. I will talk about it later. We can continue with my first slide. I would like to talk with you about a form or a schedule that is commonly used in Western developed countries such as USA or Great Britain and such, or Austria, that's close to my country, where this form is used. We could call it like 40%, 30, 20, 10% rule. You can call it whatever you want, but it is actually about dividing your income. Your income, like your salary of your household, if you have like, if you share the money together in your family, your whole income should be divided into 4 parts: consumption, housing, investments, and funds. We can start with the biggest one. It is the consumption. That actually includes food, clothes, for example, a new phone, or you visiting restaurants, cinemas, and stuff. It is usually something that fulfills your needs in a short term, let's say, in a short term period. But the main thing is that it fulfill your needs, and even if you have a higher standard of like buying more expensive food, you should follow. You should meet the 40%. That's the thing. Another part is housing. That should be 30% of your income, and that it includes the, let's say, the money that you have to give away on a regular basis. For example, every month you pay for a rent. If you don't live in your own house, you pay for electricity, for the internet, for the mobile phone, internet and stuff. This should be 30% of your income. This is housing. and it's the second biggest part of your income. Another is 20%, and this is where most of us, I think, usually miss the whole process, and it is investments. 20% of your income should be investments. That means you can have savings in your bank. For example, you either you give away money every month, for example, like part of your salary, or you just give them, your bank, you give them, I don't know, €1,000, and in 5 years you will get €1,100. This is just an example of what kinds of savings you can do. Of course, it includes actual investing in stocks or something, or gold and these kind of things, but they're not really close to regular people. So I would say the bank accounts, the funds and savings are the most common one.
You said like buying houses or
yeah. Investments in buying houses, or actually the stocks are quite common, and to my knowledge they are quite responsible, if you know what I mean. Like they're not expected to change a lot in 5 years, for example.
If you are big risk, but that you mean?
No, actually, I would say a lesser risk than, for example. Yeah, I think so. If I'm not mistaken, I think so. But yeah, as you said, buying houses is the most common one. I would say, for example, right now I live in a house that a friend of mine owns, and he doesn't live in it. He just rents it for us, for students, and it makes him some extra money. So why not? And the last part is 10%, and it is for short-term funds. That would include there is the heart, as you can see, and that is meant, for example, when you lose your job and you're not capable of continuing anymore, you should have this short-term fund that Bimbi was actually talking about it. He said about 6 months of working. It depends. Me personally, in my life, I've heard you should have 2 to 3 times of your salary saved for this, and you can get hurt, so you can't continue in your work. You can lose the job because the whole company goes bankruptcy. It can be anything. This is the short-term fund. It actually also includes, for example, in your household, when you have a washing machine and it breaks down, you have to buy new. It cannot be fixed. You have to buy new. You go into this fund and buy a new dishwasher or
money
washing
for
machine.
Accidents, for unexpected things. Okay.
For unexpected, yes.
Yeah, unexpected situation.
Now I'd like to ask either you or the viewers. You can let us know in the comments. Does any one of you actually follow this method right now? Did you know about it? Didn't you know about it? Do you do something like this? Do you put 1/5 of your income away, or actually 30% if we combine the last two parts?
I understand the concept behind it. But I cannot. At the moment, I cannot be that organized, or I haven't been that organized with my finances. Let's say.
I get. And if you were able, would you do it, or would you be like, I better have that money in my room than in a bank account when I cannot reach them? Like, do you know what I mean? The mentality.
No, I mean I wouldn't, but I don't know about others. But I would put it in the bank. Why not?
Do you mean if he would want to have a cash at home, or to put it in bank, or to invest the money?
Yes. For example, I can see my parents being afraid of giving €1,000 to bank, so that way they won't have access to it for 5 years. I can't see them doing that, even though it is. Yeah.
Okay, I would still say it's the next chapter, but if we consider that the investment, don't call it investment, but savings, because investments are a little bit different if I use my money to make more money. But for the investment, I call, for example, when I'm saving for a new car, let's say, in a short-term duration, I know that I'm going to buy that car, I'm saving money for that. And if I consider that 20% investment is the money I'm putting away somewhere to save, let's say, then I still don't follow this because I don't think that 40% of my income goes to my consumption.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I spent 40 of my income either on consuming
the
stuff.
housing. Okay, the housing approximately fits.
Okay, yeah.
Investment, yeah, sure, even maybe more. Funds, and actually, you mentioned that you have to, in your funds, you have to have like 6 months of expenses or 2 or 3 months of salary, whatever.
Yes.
If you have a place, for example, a saving account in the bank, and it's filled with the money, if you're earning €1,000 and you have 6,000 there, do you need to still put there more money, or you can use it somehow else?
That's a good question. Actually, I forgot to talk about it, but I wanted to mention it. I think you should set the top limit, like you said, or Bimbi said, or I said, either it is 2 or 3 times of your salary, or it is half a year of salary. I think you should set this limit, and the rest, if you have fulfilled this limit, the rest of your month salary, you can put it either into investments or housing consumptions. I think you should use it to other fee parts than raising the short-term fund, because of it is a short term. It is meant for the unexpected expenses, but there doesn't have to be like 2 years of making money. That would be a nonsense because of, for example, the inflation that Bimbi was talking about.
Yeah, you're right. So you have to cover some expenses for unexpected situations. This goes to the funds. If you fill the limit of the money which you need to fill, let's say this 5,000, 6,000 euro, it's there, then it would be wasting of money because it needs to be accessible pretty fast. The liquidity has to be huge, high. Yeah. So the rest of the money, if it's already filled, you should put the investments, let's say. So that money which you don't need for housing or consumptions or whatever, you should use it to make a little bit more money. So increase the investment. If you use a part of the funds, then you will refill it again back when you're able. And this is how it basically works.
Yeah, and it is also the ideal scenario. But I can see myself like having more money than I expected, actually putting it into consumption and going into bars and clubs and stuff. But
usually this is what people do when they have more money than they use for housing and stuff. They will rather not invest it, but increase their life standard.
Yes, yeah.
More expensive clothes, new phone, more time in the bar, and stuff like that.
All right, yeah. Do we have any comments from the live stream?
Let me show, because I got so enthusiastic now. So, but
before I go
no, they're afraid still.
Yeah, people are ashamed or embarrassed or something to ask a question, but they don't need to be. So
they might be saving it for later, for the end. We will see.
I'm just going to mention again that there is a little bit delay. So if you want to ask something, ask it immediately. We will answer as fast as we can or in the end. Because if you will keep your questions for the end, then you will ask in the end, maybe we won't have time, or the delay will cause that we are not going to answer it just after the call.
Yep, okay. I can move on to the next slide. I would like to talk right now about the mortgage, and then move on. I would like to talk about life goals because it is connected to the mortgage and stuff, but we will get to that. First of all, it was actually like a month ago, a friend of mine introduced me to a safe mortgage. I didn't know what it was or what it actually means, and I can explain it right now. So the basic mortgage that you get from a bank is usually set for 20 years. And let's say you can see in the graph that you have to pay €500 a month. That's what he said, that this is usually what you get from the bank. This is like the basic form of mortgage. And he introduced me to a safe mortgage. That means that you will set the mortgage for 30 years and you will pay just €300 per month. As you can see, that's the purple part of the graph. And then you can decide with the rest what you will do. And the ideal scenario is, of course, spend the whole 200 on investments. So this way, in the long-term period, because you will actually make some extra money. Because when you take a mortgage, when you sign it, and you first of all you have to have saved at least 20% of the whole mortgage today in my country, for example. But in the long run, you will pay some extra cash. It is usually between 20 and 30%. Like you borrow some money and you will pay 20 to 30% extra cash. So what safe mortgage does is that you set the mortgage for 30 years, so you pay less every month, but you actually spend the same amount. But the rest is invested, and if you invest this money, in the long run, they will actually make another money, and they keep going and going, and you end up not paying extra cash because of the money that you have invested for the last 30 years. I know it sounds like a really long future, but it is actually mortgage what we will meet almost every one of us during our lives on our way through the life. And it is really good to know that you don't have you don't have to always follow like what other people does. You don't have to, for example, bank comes to you and says, okay, you will pay this amount of money, you will pay for 20 years, and after 20 years you're free, you will own your house. But you can actually like do other stuff with your money, and you can choose different mortgages. That's what I've learned from my friend when he told me this. I wanted to show you, share it with you, that you can think in a very different point of view about this. And through the mortgage, I wanted to get to life goals, because when you're thinking about mortgage, you have to think in advance. For example, I am 21 years old, and when I did the financial analysis with my friend, he asked me about my life goals. For example, when do you expect to buy a new car? My car right now can fall apart in any minute, and so I expect to buy a new one in 2 to 3 years. Then he asked me at what age do I want to own my own house? I think I said 30. At 30, I would like to start thinking about buying my own house or building, signing a mortgage. He asked me about the kids, like the topic that we all have discussed before. I said that I would like to have at least three kids, and I would like to have one before 30. And he put this all of this together, and then he said, okay, do you actually know how much it costs to raise one kid till it gets to 18? Can you have any idea?
If you tell me I'm gonna have a dog instead of kid.
Yeah, just say you can say a number.
20,000
euro.
75,000 of euros.
No, it's much more. It is
I don't know, but
actually
it has to be much more than that, I think.
Yeah, it is actually much more. And in my country, it is what do you call when it is average. The average cost of a kid before like raising it before it reaches 18 years old is 130,000 euros for one kid. So like he put all of this, what I said, together, and he said, okay, you're 21, and when you are 30, you want to have your own house. Well, you should do this, and you should right now, you should have saved this amount of money. And for me, it was like he's talking very different language than I am. I didn't really understand what he was saying at first. Then he showed me the graphs and statistics and stuff. So that's when I like started to believe him, and when I finally understood the importance of being financially educated. That's why I'm talking about it today, and that's why I'm sharing actually this graph with you. I'm thinking, what else do you have any comments, any questions?
Can I dig a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned 130,000 euro.
Yes.
To raise a kid to 18 years old, yeah?
Yes.
So if I grab a calculator and divide 130,000 by 18, that means it's 7,200 euro per year for a kid, which I divide with 12, 2 months. A kid costs 600 euro per month. It's pretty huge amount.
Yeah, but it's not every month. Like when he goes to the university, it will cost him to pay for the university. When he goes to school, it will cost this and that. It's not fixed amount all the time.
Yeah,
I think so. You have to go to the dentist. You'll have to go to the doctor. There's a lot of things. Like you have to buy clothes.
Yeah, no, but if you divide it in equal parts, it's like this.
Yeah.
It can be 1 month 100 and 1 month 2,000.
In Romania, for example, the parents are used to buy the car for the kid. Like he has 18 years old and parents buy a car. 7,000 euro, 10,000 euro.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if the car is counted in this, but I believe I'm not sure. I didn't dig in that deep into it, but of course,
nobody bought me a car of 10,000 euros when I was 18. But
they didn't even pay for my driving license.
That sounds interesting.
Look, I have a friend that has his parents bought him a car of 17,000 euros.
Okay.
An Audi, I don't know which one.
Okay, can be.
That's a lucky friend you have, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I just wanted to add that maybe they also count with one, before you even have the kid, you have like huge investments in buying clothes and what is it called?
Just the diaper stage will be
diapers, and everything. Maybe it also counts with I don't know, actually making the funds, the savings that you make when you have a kid. Like when it reaches 18 years old, they can actually get some money from the savings and stuff. Maybe it is counted in it. I'm not sure, but the average. This is what the average number is for one kid.
Yeah. Plus, it's an average, so there are probably people who don't reach that number at all, like not even close.
Yeah, but I think if you consider that you need to feed the kid and buy clothes and pay for his trips and pay for his books and pay for gifts, and then he goes to university, maybe it's not totally for free, so you need to pay for the university as well, and for his house during the university and pocket money and stuff.
Yeah, it all adds up.
So can be. I'm not saying it's not like that. I just wanted to challenge your critical thinking. But it totally can be.
It also, like in Romania, I know for sure that the minimum for raising a kid until 18 years old, it's 75,000 euro.
Okay.
And here you have trips, you have like courses if you want to invest in your kids' education. You have school, you have like on minimum until 18 years old in Romania.
So this is the minimum, like.
Yeah. 75,000 euros.
I'm not gonna touch a girl anymore.
That was not weird at all.
Nah.
By the way, Bimbi, do you have any life goals set? As because I shared mine, kind of. I think we can talk about them. Maybe you have them the same or different.
I was thinking to talk about this.
Yeah.
I heard a really cool plan that I want to do it for myself, and that plan is to work until the age of 30 and to not buy any house at all, any apartments, any, I don't know, flat.
Yeah.
And okay, and to stay in rent until 30 or 35. I don't know, because
sure.
Until 30 or 35, I will have the freedom to move from a place to another and to experience where I feel the most alive and I feel better for myself. And then buy a house, an apartment over there.
Settle down and so on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, settle down.
Makes sense.
So you will be like making money till 30, then you mean like traveling and stuff, enjoying the freedom, or like moving straight away?
No, I think he said that he's going to move from a place to place until he's 30, 35 to try out different places. And then when he will be 35, let's say, he will know which place he liked the most. And in that place, he's going to buy a house.
Yeah, I can stay for... Yeah, I can stay for 1 year in Bucharest. I can stay for 1 year in Cluj. I don't know. I can change countries as well. I can
not
go
only
to
the house,
Slovakia.
but also like to try different jobs, to try different companies.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's totally understandable.
Cultures. So this is my plan. Afterwards, I don't know, with the kids and all this stuff, I can take them with me, like from a house to another. I don't think it's a problem. Maybe with the school, I don't know, but they have... I will learn them how to socialize and how to make friends more easily.
All right, I understand.
Nice.
And how about what do you think about structuring? Actually, like we've talked about structuring your income, like exact percentages and stuff. But what about structuring your life, as I was talking about the life goals? Do you think it is okay to like set that okay, at 27 I want to have a first kid, and like be really really exact with it, or do you just go on and whatever comes, it comes?
I'm gonna answer on that because I also had that goal when I was younger, around 26, to have my first kid, and I still don't have kids.
Did it change?
Of course it changed, because life is life is not exactly how you plan it. So and life itself is more important than the plan. So let's say, like where I'm now, even though if it's not what I had thought of when I was younger, it's not bad. So I'm okay. Like and it's better to have this than to move to something else. I don't know how to.
Yeah, I understand. And are you done with not planning your life, but do you rather postpone these life goals, or do you just not care anymore?
I think it's easier to make shorter plans. So than to make like you're 15 and like 10 years from now I want to have 3 kids. Like it's not something you can actually plan completely, let's say.
This is what I wanted to say, that some stuff you can plan, your finances, your house, your car, whatever, you can plan that, but you cannot plan where do you want to find your true love and when to have kids. This stuff can be planned.
Yeah, especially things like that, like having kids that don't depend only on you. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, when you are talking about kids, you are talking about 2 plans that are intersecting each other, like your plans and the woman's plans, and if your plans are connected, then you have a child in this point here.
But and not only that, is like you yourself during those years, you're also changing. Like when I was 15, I had this thought, like 26, maybe that would be cool. But at 15, I had never lived outside of my country. I had never, I have traveled, but not that much. I don't know. I had not experienced as much as I have now. So, or as I did during those 10 years. So, those things change gradually. Like they constantly. Like you. For me, I cannot be stuck to one particular plan, one particular goal. It's like carpe diem.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are going to change for myself as well, because they are still in a 10-year in a 10-year future. So yeah, I think so.
I think you can have some like general aims where you're going, but or some things that you actually don't want. Maybe that's even easier.
Yeah. I heard about this. To know what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And afterwards, it doesn't matter what you want to do. It matters what you don't want to do, and to have some principles and some ideologies to guide from. Like I want to do to help people in life and to do something about it. So it doesn't matter what you do if you are complaining, if you are completing your ideology.
Yeah. And it also depends on from person to person. Like I, for example, don't have a huge professional ambition or to be this or to be that. Like I like doing things. I like doing the things that I do, but not necessarily that I planned it to be like that 10 years ago or something like that. And if something new shows up that is interesting, I might go for that. But I understand people who are like, I want to be this, I want to be that. And so I think it depends a lot on, it's not black and white, black and white.
Based on your current knowledge and current experience, what you have now, you can plan something or can expect something what will happen, but you don't have that knowledge which you will have at that point. So based on the current situation, you can do some assumptions or expectations, but by the time you will gain some new experience, new knowledge, and then everything can change, and it's completely fine.
Yep.
All right. Cool. So we had quite a good, actually better than I expected, a conversation about life goals. For the financial part, it will be all from me. I hope it was all clear. Maybe we have some questions in the comments. Maybe we don't.
I'm checking, but we don't. No, we don't have.
Yeah. I was gonna launch the discussion. Basically, how did you come to this? So, how can other young people actually get access to this type of content, or how they can get informed and educated in finances, and how would you say are the best ways?
First of all, I think the very first step should be made in school, but also I believe this is quite a huge topic, at least in my country, because in my country we've never learned anything like this. We've never heard about financial literacy. We never had session of financial literacy. So everything, all of this was new for me. I really think that the first step should make the school, because if you take your opinions, for example, from your parents, they are not always right, and if they are not right in the topic and you take their opinions, you won't be also right, if that makes sense. So for me, the first step should be school, and they should give you like structured information, and so then you can search on your own, I guess. if you look up in the internet, there's a lot of very simple, as Bimbi did, analogies that can explain a hard topic very easily. That's a good thing. Me personally, I have few friends that work in this area that do the financial analysis. Actually, the friend of mine, Daniel, who is going to join us and speak, does this. He will introduce himself. So yeah, this is my opinion.
Abel wants to say something.
Yeah. Yes. When do you think people should start learning about finances and stuff like that?
Well,
Okay.
I think
At
depends
a-
on how do you do it, but
At a very young age, I don't know, maybe in the 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. I don't know.
What does that mean in
Over
terms of age? Because it might not be the same everywhere.
12.
12.
12, yeah.
No, I would say it's not about like the exact numbers or exact rates or mortgage or stuff, but the basic principles or how should they approach their money or their pocket money.
Yeah.
Still, if you would teach them, for example, they are really young, they are getting money for Christmas and Easter and stuff, then you would teach them that, okay, you should plan what you are going to do with money, or what are you saving on, or how much, like a little bit like this in a really easy way, just to show them this approach, how they should handle it. Then later on, of course, they can like think about this and that and how does it work and how does it work and stuff. But yeah.
After the lockdown, I have a project with the volunteering ONG that I have here, NGO, that I have in my city. After the lockdown, we are going from school to school, from high school to high school, from university to university, and having a financial education campaign. I will be presenting, and I will try to reach as many as people in this area, in my area.
Yeah, so high schools and universities.
Yeah.
Okay. So the main thing, I think, for me is that when you're 18, that means that your signature actually means something, and you can get into real trouble by, into debts and stuff. So for sure, it should be before 18. I like the financial education subject. And maybe there should be one even at the younger age. For example, I don't know, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, because they already get the pocket money that you were talking about. So yeah, I think it could be a really good and complex subject in school. Like, for example, English, right? You've been having, or at least me, I've been having English subject as a subject in school for, I don't know, 10 years almost. Like, why wouldn't there be a subject of financial literacy that would keep on going and adding information? Why not?
See, we have a question from right. We had a question from Luís Pereira, who says, "What are your thoughts on the financial impact from COVID-19 and your plans on the future?" I don't know. Like to drop this bomb here.
Maybe, yeah. Well, it is a good question, but maybe it is meant for you as a employees of the NGOs, because for me, I'm a student. I barely have some money, and the crisis didn't crush my plans that much.
Okay.
And I think it affects you more because you are employees and you make more money and stuff.
Okay. I have another point of view, that this crisis was predicted, because a crisis is coming at every 10 years. It was in 28, it was in 22, like every approximately 10 years is coming a new crisis, and it was in 28. it came in 2020. So it was predictable.
So you plan with the crisis in mind already, is that it?
Yeah. In 2030 is going to be another crisis. Like, get
I'm gonna
prepared
wait for that one.
Yeah, prepare for that one. And in the crisis situations in this period, many people are, not many, but people that see the opportunity, they are going to be very, very rich from this period, especially from many.
There are opportunities in crisis, yes, but I think the question is more like Libor said, it doesn't really affect his plans if there is a crisis in the next 1, 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
But
because I'm not that huge part of the whole economy. I'm just a little tear in the ocean.
I would say it's two separate questions because our plans are pretty influenced because we cannot do our everyday stuff for what we are used to do and organizing any projects and stuff. So yeah, this is influenced, but from the financial part, it's a pretty topic for a long discussion. So I would say the prices will go down a little bit because the inflation was like in a super high numbers, so it couldn't stay like that for longer time now. Especially in Slovakia, it was 0 and 0, and now it's around 1.5%, so it's almost nothing. So now there's some. I'm not gonna dig in that topic, but I expect the stuff, everything, the houses and the cars and everything is going to be cheaper. But even the salaries, I think.
Yeah.
I think it depends a lot also on the age you're in. Like we're reaching the 30s. Okay, I'm in the 30s already, but it was like if we see, for example, the plan that Bimbi was saying, which is something like not consciously, but I've been doing, which is now that I'm 30, I'm starting to think, okay, maybe I should settle down in one place, start investing or whatever. Maybe in that sense, this could be an opportunity because we were not, let's say, spending or having those having a huge expenses before. So because, like Vico said, prices will probably go down on some things that. And if you have the money available, maybe it will not be a terrible situation. On the other hand, if you will keep relying on the income, on employment, then I think a lot of people will have a lot of problems, let's say.
Actually, this whole COVID situation is a pretty cool example why the people should put some money aside for themselves to have some savings. Because I remember back in a few years ago when I was talking with people and they said, I'm not going to save money. Why should I? I have salary every month and that's it. And it cannot be influenced. I have salary, I have my job and that's it. And it's not going to change. It can change, unfortunately. It depends on how you are prepared for the situation. And if you are prepared well, you can benefit. I mean, from the financial part, not from the diseases and sickness and stuff, but according to finances, the stock market is historical minimum now. So if you start investing now, technically you should earn some money.
Yep. I know. For me, most of the time I spend my money traveling. So I imagine I will save a lot of money in the next year because I won't travel that much. So maybe that money will be available for something else. I don't know. We'll see.
Investments. For investments.
For investments, yes. Or I guess.
Can we move to another part? I have information that Daniel is ready and he is in a little rush.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I muted him. Hello, Daniel.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And I guess you can see me now.
Hi, Daniel. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first part I think should be an introduction, so let me introduce myself. My name is Daniel Wojciech, as you can see down there, and I'm soon to be 20 years old. I'm a student at University of Technology in Brno, and I study management at the Faculty of Business. Right now, I work 2 jobs. I work at a company that, let's say, gives jobs to people in need, and I also work at Tesco's. I have plenty of things that I like doing, but I'm not going to talk about that now, because that would take too long. So why should I be the one telling you anything about financial literacy? Well, 2 months ago, I joined a program named the School of Business and Finances, and it was organized by a financial consulting company, Czech company, named Partners. After completing it, I started working for them as a self-employed financial consultant. The goal of this company is to better financial literacy of the Czech people, and they want to show them that you do not have to be a millionaire to be rich, and that it's all about financial responsibility and how you use your money. Well, how do we want to accomplish this? We want to accomplish this by frequently meeting with our clients using these 3 types of meetings. The first is analysis, and I'm going to talk about that later, and I'm actually going to show you a little sneak peek of how it looks like. The second type of meeting is consulting meeting, and this is the meeting where we show them the financial plan we created for them and tell them where exactly to put their money and how much is it going to make them. The third meeting is, let's call it a service meeting, where we check on the products and see if they are still working for our clients or if they need to be changed. And this happens once or twice a year. Now I would like to show you a bit of the analysis and how it actually goes. Its structure is simple. It takes between an hour and hour and a half, and it's divided into 4 parts. In the first part, there's an introduction. The goal is to better understand each other and to give the meeting a nice, easygoing, friendly mood. The second part is about the service itself. We show them what we are, what we do, and why we believe it works. The third part is about the actual clients. We let them talk about themselves, we listen to their goals and needs, and we try to find out how we can help them. And the fourth part is for giving feedback. And well, now for the actual showing, I'm going to use Libor as my client, and I guess we can start if everything was understood so far and everything is okay.
Okay, I guess, yeah. Go ahead.
So Libor, well, I wanted to use a presentation, but I'm not going to do that, I'm sorry, because I really am in a rush. So Libor, the first thing that I want to show you is how people in the Czech Republic use and think about their money. It doesn't matter how much they make. So let's say that they all make about 20,000 Czech crowns. The first group of people gets this income and they spend it all on their necessary expenses. Those are the things that you just can't live without and you have to pay. What sort of necessary expenses do you know?
Necessary expenses. So it's like the stuff we were talking about before, for example, food, housing, where you have to pay for the electricity, for the rent if you live in a rented house, for the internet, something that you can't miss of paying.
Yeah,
I believe.
Exactly.
Do you agree? The others? Do you have any other? Yeah. Okay. Go on.
I guess they do. And these people live paycheck to paycheck, and their problem is that they usually try to afford more than they can, and they get themselves into debt. The second group of people gets their monthly income. They spend part of it on their necessary expenses, and they use the rest to buy liabilities. Liabilities are the things that you do not need, but you spend your money on, and for a short period of time they make you happy, but their price never comes back. What liabilities do you know?
So that would be like going to cinema, going to restaurants to eat out. with friends, clubs.
Yeah. And the third group of people, again, gets their monthly income. They spend part of it on their necessary expenses. They enjoy short-term happiness by buying liabilities, but they also leave. But they always leave some amount of money to invest and to buy assets. Those are the things that, as time goes on, give you your money back, and they generate what we call passive income. Well, do you have any ideas what the assets are?
Okay, so it's like investing money in, let's say, buying a house and renting it, as Rui said before, investing in stocks, in gold, such things such as that.
Yeah, and if
Bitcoin.
you can't invest,
Coin, yeah.
And if you can't invest on your own, you can invest in funds, and they are going to invest for you, basically. And well, why did I show you this? Because I wanted to show you that you can move between these groups, and that it's not that hard. It's all about, as I said, about your financial discipline and how you spend your money. And my goal as, well, let's say your consultant, is to create such passive income that would cover your necessary expenses, your liabilities, and there would always be an amount left to buy more assets. How does this sound to you, or what do you think it would do for you?
Well, it depends. I think it is a future, like in the long run, what you are saying, it is not achievable in, let's say, 5 years. But based on what you were saying, I think it is accomplishable for everyone. I would say that it is not that hard, at least what you were saying before.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's not. It, as I said, only takes a bit of discipline and time. And well, now I'm going to stop this analysis, and we would, later talk about different topics like the financial market, what benefits do I bring, and so on. And well, that's basically all I wanted to show you. And do you have any questions, like on my, let's say, person, on or on the topic that I do? I mean, on the job that I do.
Do we have any questions in the comments, Wiko? Or?
No. Let me check one more time, but no, nothing here, and nothing new here. So no, between the comments, no.
So, any questions from you?
Yeah, most like people reach out to you guys, I guess. You don't.
Well, not really, because in our country, this sort of work is, well, quite, let's say, looked down on, and people don't really like it. So we have to start with our friends, we have to talk to them, show them what it's about, and actually we have to reach out to the people that we want to help, which is
okay.
Well, yeah.
I feel like back in my good old days. 2 years ago, 3.
What is so this was part of the financial analysis. What is the price for the client for this financial analysis?
Well, they don't pay anything. It's for free, and yeah, as I said, it's to show them that there are different options, and in my opinion, better options how to spend your money and so on. So it's for free. It doesn't cost them anything.
Yeah.
So you are working for free?
Well, not really. It's quite complicated, but for these, let's say, meetings and stuff, I can't take any money.
And for what you are taking money then?
Well, it's finances and stuff like that. So we, let's say, we show them the financial plan, and there are some products that they either agree to use or disagree, and they don't want to use them. And we get paid by the companies that, provide these products.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess you could say on provisions, if that's an English word.
Yep.
Like, when you go to the bank and you have I don't know, a bank account in their bank, they offer you their services, but you are like more objective.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, we like try to look on, look on all the possibilities, what sort of, let's say, bank accounts you could have, and we usually try to pick the best one for our customers. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you are like comparing the possibilities and the prices, let's say, and
Yeah,
offering the
we
best
pick the
solution.
best one that best suits the person that I'm doing it for, basically.
So you'd say most people who reach out to you or that you reach out to are in a good situation or in a bad one normally?
Well,
Like that
so
in
far,
average, like how people are, if people are financially responsible or let's say educated or not in general.
well, so far from the meetings that I had, most people did not really know anything about these things. So far, they are financially uneducated.
Okay.
But I only had like, let's say, 20 meetings, so I can't talk on a big scope yet.
What do you think about the financial literacy being being taught in schools? When do you think it should start? What time? What age?
Well, I feel like I've been listening to you, and you said it around, let's say, like 10 or 12. I feel like that's a bit too early because, I don't think that the kids just understand how money works at that point. So I would say at like, let's say 15 or something like that is the good age for me, let's say.
Yeah.
I think just not like in a totally deep level of understanding for them, but just the basic stuff or basic approach, how to act with the money or how to handle, or at least be aware that you need to pay for something and not everything's for free, and the mommy is not going to buy you a new iPhone every 2 months and it costs something. So just to be aware that something is there. But in the high school, let's say, when you start or like that, it's basically the 4 years what prepares you for the adult life. This should be a good start when you could learn something useful.
Yeah, I guess I agree.
I agree with Daniel, and it may be too early because I think maybe at that time of your age you shouldn't be actually focusing on money or making money, or it shouldn't actually be your goal, or
you should focus on relationships and how to even talk to people.
Exactly.
But I mean, I see, let's say, both sides, and I understand, but yeah, we all have our opinions. So.
Yeah. Tell me. Do you have any comments, any questions, or in the?
Juliana is asking, how many clients do you convince per month on average?
Well, as I said, I've been doing this for, let's say, only a month now, and I had about, as I said, 20 clients, and it is hard, but let's say that, I don't know, let's say 6 or 5 of them, let's say 6 of them agreed to somehow work with me on a long-term based relationship.
Okay.
That's nice. Okay, no one else is asking now.
What are some of the measures, for example, like of those people, of those plans you did? Like some measures that people will take or can take to.
Well, the biggest point that we actually focus on is to prepare if you need a housing, so to prepare for housing, but that did not happen to me yet. But the biggest thing that I was focusing on was to prepare for pension, to actually realize that the state is not always going to be there and is not always going to give you such good, let's say pension money, and that you should be somehow aware that it is that, well, yeah, in my opinion, that it is needed to prepare for pension, to be able to live the way you want to live.
Like on extra, besides the state one, or
Yeah.
okay. I think especially those in terms of state pensions, it differs a lot from country to country, so it's not.
Yeah, well, at least in our country.
It's not easy to yeah. Okay. Does anybody else have any question or?
I had something on my mind that I forgot because the question was good. Kind of like let's say it's easy to convince a client, not convince, but to make the client being interested in your services when he have, for example, a loan, and you can arrange a cheaper loan for him. Let's say, exchange it a little bit, and for example, he have a mortgage on his house, and you can arrange it for cheaper. It's okay, it's cool because there is visible evidence that the service is cool. But can you, for example, as you said, you are teaching the financial literacy, to convince them to when they have this mindset that they are just spending the money, which they don't even have for stuff they don't need, but to convince them to save a little bit of money, which they cannot see immediately a result, but in long term it's beneficial for them, of course. But is it like hard for you to explain them how the things goes and make them understand?
Well, yes, it is. Some people are, let's say, okay with not spending all of their money that they get, and they are, they welcome this, that they can prepare for their future. But some people are just that they want to enjoy now, they want to live now, so they don't really want to spend that much money on future. And yeah, it is a bit harder, but so far, like, no big issues happened to me. So
Yeah.
It is a way of seeing things. Like I think like most of our parents worked for, I don't know, 40, 50 years, working every day, collecting money, and hoping like when they get to 60, they will retire and they will be able to enjoy their time. I think today we have a bit of a different perspective, or I'm not saying in general, but I guess there's still people like that, but that we will maybe enjoy a bit more while we're still able to enjoy, and so maybe to spend more money now. At least I see it like that. Like I won't plan too much for 40 years from now or 30 years from now. Yeah, 30 years from now. 60 is 30 years from now.
It's getting closer, man.
That's heavy. But there is that, and I think I don't know how future generations will see this. Maybe it will be even different, even more different. I don't know how you see it. Like, you prefer to like, do you want to enjoy what you can now, or you actually think you should have the effort to profit later? Like,
I mean, of course that I like enjoying my time now, but I am the type of a person that is not afraid to put aside a small amount of money to just let it lay somewhere and basically prepare for a better future. So
you can balance those two.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably the best approach.
And that's what we are trying to show most people.
Actually, this is how it should be. As you said, the balance that you are not limited to enjoy the time now because you never know when it ends, but still you can be prepared for the future. It's just about the balance. So it has to be an amount for investment which doesn't really influence you now, but in long term, in exponential investment, it can earn a lot.
Yeah, exactly. The thing you have to realize is that money and time, they work great together if the money is, in some places where it actually works for you and not the companies and so on.
It's actually why you said that every one of us can be rich, even though we are not millionaires, right?
Yeah.
I prefer to be a rich millionaire.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it will also bring a lot of responsibilities that to be a millionaire. So you have a question, yeah? No.
No. Just
trying
the
to read your
30 years will
expression.
come soon.
Who?
We won't realize how quickly we'll pass the 30 years. We almost know with Rui.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay.
There was something on my mind again. What disappeared?
Brain.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Now, is
Well,
there something else you would like to maybe share with us, or
Sorry, Vico.
Daniel? I mean,
Well, I guess I just want to thank you for your attention. I hope I, well, maybe showed you something you didn't know. And I guess I'm going to leave you now because I have another thing that I need to get to. So, yeah, have a great rest of the evening and enjoy.
Thank you for your participation.
Thank you for visiting us and giving us your insight.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Did you have anything else prepared for your presentation, or?
I just wanted to, so actually I did my part whole. I just wanted to say that Daniel is, first of all, I invited Peter, but Peter wasn't able to come, so Daniel came. But they both actually do the same job. They are both interested in the financial services, and they do the analysis. And I invited them because I think they get to know the other point of view, and I thought it would be interesting to share their process of working the financial analysis, to talk about it. And as Daniel said, the financial planning, the financial advisors, they're not really liked in our country because some time ago, usually people worked in a factory, then they put away their working clothes, they put on a suit, and they take a backpack, and they go to people and offer them like not really interesting savings and funds and stuff. So that's why the mindset of people in our countries is what it is. And as Daniel said, they're trying to make it better by reaching out to people, because people are not reaching out to them. And for example, in Western countries, it's actually the other way around. In the USA, it is called Life Planner, and the Life Planner is one of the let's say best or most liked jobs in the US. And that's also their idol. They're trying to inspire of the US, and they're trying to mimic their job here in our country.
Okay. Yeah, the culture is very different, though. I think I would say from USA, and in terms of work conditions, in terms of social security, in terms of healthcare, in terms of everything, like.
But Great Britain is, for example, also an example of this. Do you have it similar in Portugal, for example, or Romania? The attitude of people about the financial literacy or financial planners?
I think a lot of people don't really have the opportunity to even think about financial planning, and I think it's also because, I mean, with low salaries or with, I mean, you can stretch and you can plan, but it's like if what you have is not enough, then it's not you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to live or to function with less than what is necessary, and a lot of people are in that situation. I bet in Romania there's a lot of people in that situation as well.
And we have a changed mentality after the communism has fallen. Like it's the same. It's the same like in communism, because many of our parents are telling, oh, you don't have what you can help me with, like you can help me with anything, and you can't help me with anything, and I know how to manage my money and this stuff, and they don't listen to advices.
Okay.
And actually, just 5% out of the population of Romania is financially educated.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how the situation is in Romania.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think, like I said, in Portugal is like that. Like a lot of people would probably like to save, but they can't. But I guess also some people, and maybe in the younger people, maybe even less actually. I was gonna say maybe even more, but they're saving less, like due to, I don't know, we have less safety in our work, or like our work bonds, like we are not as safe as our parents were, for example. There's no more the job for life thing, like etc. So
Yeah.
financial planning actually becomes more important, but harder to do. If you know what I mean. I don't know. Yeah. I think we've been we stretched our time a little bit, huh? I just noticed.
Just a little. We have still 3 or 4 more minutes.
Okay. I don't know if anyone in the call wants to do any question and to ask any questions. We should have a few people here.
Let's give them the voice.
I guess Bebe and Sandra, if they want to ask anything.
Abel is here as well.
And Abel, yeah.
I don't have any questions, but I wanted to thank you guys. It's been a really informative session, and I've learned a lot. I haven't had anything to do with anything financial so far, and I feel like now I feel like I need to learn more. So yeah, thanks.
An advice for you, Abel, is you can join Facebook groups in your country about financial education. I think in Romania there are a lot of those groups, and I think in your country as well, it might be.
Maybe.
I want to tell something as well. Also, as Abel said, the stuff you talked about was really important, and I think that more people should know about it. Also, I have a question. Do you think there's any possibility for people to learn more about financial literacy, but except schools?
Actually, I could recommend you a cool book or a cool author which focuses on this stuff, or to have a little bit deeper understanding of, or not deeper, but basic understanding is a good start point to financial education. It's Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes.
If you know him.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool explaining the cash flow quadrant. How does the people think in different positions there? Like the entrepreneurs, the employees, and the investors, self-employed people. And poor dad, rich dad, or is it like this in English? Yeah, that's really cool. It describes the different, like 2 different people who was teaching him how to handle the money and how to approach it, and 2 different opinions in 2 different ways. It was not about how rich they were, but how they were thinking about the whole. So this author I would really recommend to read. It's pretty interesting and explained in a really easy way.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The 2 books that you mentioned, I was recommended to look at them, to read them. I was even sent send them as audiobooks. And actually, I can maybe find some more books that are like focused on the financial education. But yeah, Robert Kiyosaki is certainly the one of the most known. And the cash flow quadrant, yeah, and the rich dad, poor dad, exactly. I don't know what other options are there, like the book, school, I guess. As Bimbi said, you can search even on Facebook to find some sites. Google.
Also Erasmus projects.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, like,
Yeah.
and that was basically, yeah, we've had in the past and probably have in the future about this topic as well. So
And actually, if I would write a project about a certain topic, it would be this topic.
Yeah.
Because it's relevant, it's like for young people, and so most likely it would also happen in the end, in the future.
Yeah, and it's like never changing, right? Because either you're 18 or you're 60, you will always deal with the money. You will always solve problems regarding money. And either it is 20th century, either it is 19th century or 21st.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as you said that you would appreciate a little bit more knowledge or something to reach out how to learn this stuff. And so as Rui said, it's pretty relevant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Definitely the space is there for people to have projects on these topics and on any topic they find relevant, actually, but this one is particularly important and impactful for their future, so it becomes even more relevant, I guess. I think we can call it a day. I think 1 hour and a half. Our time is up. So I would like to thank you all for coming, Libor, Bimbi, Abel, and Daniel also, who was in the call earlier. And tomorrow we should have a very interesting discussion about philosophy with Eric and Abel. And I hope to see you then.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and see you anytime.
Yep.
Goodbye.
See you tomorrow at 7, as usually.
Exactly. On all the pages in Facebook of all the partner NGOs. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.